Columbia River Gorge, beautiful spring day, and this is the toy store once again.
Yeah, back to our toys.
Now, your side of the table is a little more densely populated than mine. So let me just tell you about my latest love, Rollei Twin Lens Reflex. We have a whole separate segment on this, so I'm not going to say much about it other than I'm returning to my roots.
I worry about you. I really do.
Don't worry too much. I love black and white. I wanted to, after 15 years, get back to rolling my own, processing film, do it in my kitchen sink. The segment that we're going to have on the Rollei shows me, Chris has filmed me processing film at home and the scanning. But I like the process. I like the beauty, the mechanicalness of the Rollei. I used one for years when I worked for CBC Television and for the film industry, shooting stills on film sets and TV sets. Silent, almost silent, leaf shutter, only camera that could be used on a live film set. And so this is a new camera. This was just built within the last year or so.
Oh,
it's the end of the line.
It's beauty. You didn't use the old logo on it, and
yeah.
You know, it's funny when we were back in the '70s, and I guess even the '80s. When I think about it, we were a lot of twin lens reflex work. I worked with the Rolleiflex for a while, but moved over to the Mamiya C330 line just because of
interchangeable
lenses. It was so clever. I mean, it was like. It had like a spring-loaded little lever. You'd pick it up, drop a lens in, lock it back in, and you're off shooting again.
Yeah.
Just totally different. And this one also has a prism finder, I believe you can have,
yep.
and the other ones do. So, you know what? My hat's off to you. Have fun. You know, I still worry a lot about you. You're slipping, but you know, there's no gray hair alerts or whatever they call those out there yet for you. But you know, you'll see that on Luminous-Landscape silver alert someday. Michael's gone over the edge. Well, anyway, more power to you.
I'm having fun.
You know what? You are having fun, and it's a lot of fun to see you having fun. And it's just like so unreal that the balance of everything is on this side now.
Yes, I know. Okay, so what new contemporary gear do you have for us today?
Well, I brought a lot of things that we've been using and playing and looking at, and we might as well start off with a possibly most useless,
okay,
kind of like why products. And I recently saw this in a magazine article, a photo magazine of all things, and this is a LaCie Mirror Drive. Now you have to ask her, mirror drive.
Oh, mirror drive. So in other words, it records 2 copies.
Oh, no.
No, it mirrors.
No, you can see yourself.
Oh, that's really helpful.
And it comes in with a wooden tray.
Yeah.
And you can put it in the tray.
Yeah.
And it sits on your desk, and you put a pencil.
Yeah.
And it has a braided USB cord, braided, not rubberized. Look at that, that's braided, just like.
That's nice. I like that.
I mean, being retro, that's how like electric wires in houses used to be.
I like that. Now, this may be a very fine drive. I'm sure the electronics are the same as other LaCie drives, which are very good. But frankly, this is about as useless as those Hasselblad, you know, remodels of Sony cameras from 3 years ago.
Yeah, I wonder if they got
Stellar and all of those pieces of
they got the leftover wood.
Exactly. This is the leftover wood from the pistol grips.
But it does come with a polishing cloth, and
oh, is that ever?
If you position it properly on your desk,
that is so useless.
You can remind yourself who you are. Anyway.
All right. I've got a shiny drive as well, except mine's useful. Okay. This isn't quite a mirror finish, but it's a 1 terabyte solid state. And this one is made by a company called Oyen Digital, and it's called the Shadow Mini. And it's expensive. It's about $600. Solid state drives, big solid state drives are still expensive, but it's a 1 terabyte USB 3, and it's very rugged and it weighs almost nothing, and comes with a little pouch and a USB 3 cable. And I've been using it now for about 6 months. I took it to Antarctica, several other trips, and I love the fact that they're super fast, super reliable. And
no, you're taking 2 of these, if I remember correctly. One that you put like in your briefcase, one you throw in your suitcase.
Exactly.
So these are your backup.
My other drive is not a solid state.
Okay.
But what I do when I travel is I have 2 full copies of everything I've shot on a shoot. one on one of these drives, one on a second drive like this. I put one in my briefcase, I put one in my camera bag, and if I've worked on my files, I take my selects and I put them on the hard drive of my laptop. So triple redundancy.
Well, I go one step further, is if I have enough SD cards or CF cards, depending on what format I'm shooting with, I turn those over and I use those. I don't reformat them if I don't have to. Considering you get a few thousand images per 32 gig, 64 gig card, versus what do you get, 12?
12 frames at $1 a piece.
Okay. So, you know, we're both very big on our backups. This is the newest LaCie drive. It's rugged. It's the newest rugged. It does come with a Thunderbolt cable wrapped around it, plugged right in, and it does have a USB 3, so you can use USB 3 too. So once again, you know, I've always been a firm believer in the ruggeds. I've got stacks of these things, and much like yourself, I back up. I also use the Western Digital versions of. They have the 4 terabyte. You have one of those, and you can mirror the drives. There's 2 drives kind of stacked on top of each other in a nice package, and that's another one I take with me quite often too. So
the nice thing about drives these days is, notwithstanding the fact that solid state are expensive, but regular spinning discs have become so inexpensive. You can almost treat them like long-term storage. So you can go out on a shoot, come back from a trip, have 10,000 images on a drive, and just put the drive on the shelf.
That's what I said. I got stacks of them, you know,
exactly.
and I label them. You know, they're nice. Right now, it's just got my name and phone number on here, but usually if I fill one of these things up or use it as a backup, you know, I either write on it with a magic marker or tape like a piece of directory, you know, do a print out of the directory and tape it to it, so, you know, 5 years from now I can remember what's on it. Anyway, there's a lot we can talk about on those things. Let's get into some camera gear, because that's always fun. We talk a lot about mirrorless these days. We're both into the Fuji X-T1 system. I've left mine at home because the other mirrorless I do a lot of playing with is the Sony, and I have the Sony A7 II, which I've been using on this trip. And I'm really beginning to like things, other than the idiosyncrasies of a poorly laid out
Sony
menu.
cameras idiosyncratic? Really?
We've covered some of that previously. Once you get used to it, though, it's a pretty slick system.
They're starting, though. It's been a few years now, and they're on about the 3rd or 4th generation, and they finally have figured out how to, you know, do things reasonably, sensibly. Not bad.
So some of you that are using the Sony system may already know a lot of these little things I'm going to show, but they're just kind of fun things to talk about. The first one is a little lens I found. It's a 16 millimeter 2.8 fisheye. It's for the A series, so you have to get one of the adapters. And
LEA3 or 4 or,
whatever it is here. But yeah, EA4.
EA4, that's the latest one.
And it does have a tripod socket on, so if you even had, like when we do our 150 to 600 millimeter Tamrons, we can either mount it there or use the Tamron sleeve. But this gives really an incredible view. And it's not something you'd use that often, but it's kind of fun to take in to like a room or something with, you know, tight quarters, a stairway, and it just kind of like does some fun stuff.
Now, it's not a circular fisheye.
No, it's kind of a
what do they call
rectangular
fisheye image.
Fisheye.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to play with. It's not too expensive.
Rectilinear, I think that's called.
It even comes with built-in filters. There's an A12 filter, a normal, and a B12 filter put in.
Cool.
And you just kind of pull that back and rotate it. Not that I've even bothered to work with it, but you know, it's kind of fun that it's
If
there.
you were shooting black and white film, that would be handy.
Well, maybe you just figure out a way to stick it on there. So anyway, this is kind of a fun little lens. One of the things that recently I've just gotten, this is the Sony A7 II with the battery grip, and Really Right Stuff is just recently released the L bracket, and they're getting much, much smarter. And of course, one thing I really like about Really Right Stuff, and Tom does a great job with his guys in engineering, is that, you know, they listen to their users. And two things that we've always complained about is that we don't have or can't find the Allen wrench when you want it.
Yeah.
And now they build the Allen wrench right into the base, and you can basically take an Allen wrench out and then drop it back in, and there's like a little tiny, you know, magnet in here. So essentially, you know, you've always got
that is
the
so
Allen
clever.
wrench in there.
Thank you. That is so clever.
And many of us have, and we've talked about this previously, work with this is the Black Rapid straps, or you know, there's a number of different brands on the market. And the problem with their earlier L brackets is they were just L brackets and no place to put it. Now you can keep the L bracket on the camera and either screw a tripod socket on or use one of these.
So that's clever. So you really never have to take it off.
No, and you can change batteries very easily the way they've carved it. And because I was using the cable release yesterday, you can pop the packet off and use the cable release. So
now this is specific to the A7 II.
A7 II, because it's a different battery grip and everything along those
of course.
lines.
So for the I imagine they have one for the A7R.
A7, well, yes, but I'm not sure whether it's got all the new refinements in it.
Right.
Since I don't have the A7R quite yet. And on this Sony camera today, the A7 II, I have what I think is probably finally Sony's finest lens, prime lens for their cameras. I've got the 35mm f1.4 on here. I think Sony is coming around. With the release of the A7 II, they finally got the whole concept of at least the ergonomics down. Menus is a whole different story. Well, but now with the ergonomics down and all a number of other things they've put in here, such as in-body image stabilization, they've got a real good system. And they're now designing lenses for that. And this is a prime. It's a 35 1.4 with an f-stop ring.
Okay, let me just say, I shot with this in Cuba in March. I got a sample from Sony to test. And number one, I think it's a phenomenal lens in terms of its image quality. So that's a given. It's a Zeiss. It's a Sony Zeiss. The aperture ring is just, thank you, Sony.
It's so cool.
Thank you. When the world went away from aperture rings to wheels, I think we lost something. And now that we can have aperture rings again, I just think to be able to look at the camera, see the position of what can I say? Thank you, Sony. You built a beautiful lens. It's a little heavy. It's a bit expensive for what it is, but it's brilliant. I think optically, it is one of the best Sony Zeiss lenses produced.
We'll have a separate report on it. It also, I think, has a really clever thing to switch for the on-off click. So you can actually, if you're doing, I suppose that was if you were doing
video people
or something, you have no indents or
that's
whatever
right.
we call it.
No détentes. So in other words, you've got a smooth aperture. That's very clever as well.
So
it's a super lens. I think that if they continue to bring out more lenses of this type, they've got a real winner.
So the image quality, like you said, it's just been astounding. I've tried to put it through a whole slew of different tests. I shot in Pike Market in Seattle the other day, and I shot a lot at 1.4 where I'd get one flower in focus, and just to be able to see how that depth of field works and everything is so amazing. And I'm just really beginning to really like shooting with that. Of course, they have a lot of nice convenient lenses out there. Another thing that I like, and of course when I go out shooting, you and I both have shoulder bags that we've been using for many, many years. They're not really even camera bags, I guess.
No.
Mine I got from Tilly, but they don't make it any longer,
right.
The hat company Tilly. And I don't remember where you got yours.
I don't know. I have one I bought somewhere years ago. It's just an old canvas bag. Yeah.
But I buy a lot of stuff from a company called Travelsmith, and I've been always looking for the ultimate camera bag. I'm somewhat addicted.
It's like some people with shoes, right?
Yes, and this is called, I believe, it's called PackSafe, and it's specifically made for amateur enthusiast street photographers. And it's like, if you could walk the streets of Europe, you could carry your camera around your neck, or you can even carry it in here. And wait till I show you some of the cool features on this. Obviously, you've got a nice water bottle feature on the back, another pocket over here, things that you can hang. But they make this, number one, so it's IR-centric, meaning if you had a passport in there, somebody couldn't read it. It's got like a...
Oh, it blocks the near-field RF.
They've got all sorts of clever locks on here. So if you wanted to, and you didn't want anybody to break in,
let's see, let's turn around.
Okay. You could lock the zippers down, and you can see these are cut-proof metal chains.
Yeah, that's clever.
What I have in the outer pocket, you have plenty of room. You carries an iPad, so if you're doing street magnification, but you have all sorts of pockets for other things and Velcro stuff in here.
Nice.
So I really like the fact that you can do an iPad in there, and it's padded, so it's somewhat protective.
It's iPadded.
iPadded. The other thing is it's got a double zipper kind of pull on here, and if to open it up, you kind of just pull the double zipper.
Okay.
And of course it's got Velcro too.
Right.
And inside there's plenty of room. Right now I've got 3 lenses. Got the 16 to 35.
Let's see in there. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a flip over pad, so you can actually put a camera with the lens in there if you want. I have it configured so if I went out on the street right now, I could go out on the street with this pack, not weighing very much, and have a 4-lens system. What's on the camera and carry my other 3 lenses, which would be normally a 24 to 70, a 16 to 35, and a 70 to 200.
That is very clever.
Very, very nice. All high quality.
Yeah, no,
you know,
great
everything
material.
is just beautifully set up.
What does this sell for?
$99.
That's not bad.
And it's from TravelSmith, the travel company. So
Right.
I've been comfortable with it. And the other thing I like about it is it doesn't hang from the center. It hangs from the back edge. It's a little padded back here too. So, if it's rubbing against your hip and you've got lenses in there, it's not just, the lens mounts and everything banging into you. So it's a very comfortable little system, adjustable straps. Everything is set so that it can't be stolen. You can't just slice through this. There's there's a steel braid going through there.
Yeah, I can feel that.
So you just can't have somebody come and try to slice it and run with it. This part has bothered me a little bit because as I've used it, it tends to twist, and there's got to be a way to fix it. Other than that, I haven't found anything that I've not liked about this, and it's been pretty cool.
Right.
It's
So,
relatively new still, but
Pack safe.
Pack
from
safe, TravelSmith.
TravelSmith. Very cool.
And because you had something in a leather bag earlier, I'm always about having a camera with me, and we've recently started putting stuff about having an iPhone up on the forum, and it raises eyebrows here and there, but the point is it's a camera, no matter which way you look at it. It's all about the photography, it's all about having that camera there. You and I, you might not be as big into iPhone as I am, but we both use them.
Oh,
and,
yeah, sure.
it's sit down at breakfast and see the sunrise.
I photograph my breakfast every morning.
That silver alert's coming quicker than we expect. So this is my X100T.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful quality. Very, very slick. I put a little thing from, I think it's a company called Loam or something, a little soft release on top here, which is nice. And also with this, I have these cute little strap systems. A company called
who makes that?
Peak Design.
Right.
I believe it's called Peak Design.
Okay.
And I'm very big on the modular straps. I hate straps. I hate these eyelets. So this attaches with, kind of a string. And this is their wrist strap.
Right.
And essentially you just kind of put the little disc in and you pull it down and it snaps into place.
Clever.
And to release it, you push the little disc back.
That looks very secure.
And then if I wanted to, I could, put it around my neck. Now this is my social camera. I go to a museum, an opening, or out to dinner. This is what I usually have with me. I keep it in a leather pouch because I can put it in my briefcase when I travel, so it's on the plane with me, or it's in the car and so forth. So, and it's got an extra battery and a lens cleaning cloth I keep in here. This is actually an old Hasselblad bag. So this is
it's like real leather.
Yeah, it's quite nice and works quite nicely. I'm sure you can find these on eBay.
Sure.
So this is that nice little system that I work with.
You know what? You've used this enough. It's now starting to wear a little bit.
It feels great. Doesn't it? Soft leather.
It's great.
So that's kind of the.
Okay, that's cool.
It's a leftover lens.
This is your
this is my
bag
scale.
weigher.
Yeah. Well, everybody should have a bag weigher. Once again, I got this from TravelSmith. I usually get it because I've been lately weighing tripods and different things along that line. So if you're interested in what things weigh.
But given that the airlines are now charging an arm and a leg for overweight bags, it really is worthwhile knowing before you get to the airport whether your bag is going to be overweight.
Coming down the home stretch. This is always so much fun because, this is something we, Nick, you and I saw this product when we were
at Photokina.
At Photokina, and we ended up bringing one back and had Nick do a review. It's a unique ball. And I've had an opportunity to use it, and it's actually replaced, and I've got a lot of ball heads and different tripod heads. The Architect really writes stuff. what's the one with the cube? The
Arc Swiss
Arc
cube.
Swiss cube. But this is a really nice head, very fast. You know, once again, it adjusts.
So it's a ball within a ball.
It's kind of a ball and a ball, and it's kind of designed so that no matter which way your tripod was, you could level it off, and then, you know, this part would spin at the level. But it's just very versatile to use. You know, no matter which, you can go vertical pretty easily with it. Of course, most of us end up just using an L bracket and go vertical. Probably the one thing that I really have a pet peeve with is screw tight bracket clamps. I really like the
levers is the way to go.
Because you know it's the way to go. But other than that, I'm told that I could actually take this off and get the really right stuff on to stick on there.
Yeah.
So I've been really happy with it. It's not that heavy, and it really fits nicely on top of
It's beautifully made. I like the finish. You know, if you like the red, doesn't matter one way or the other. But no, it's made in Hungary, designed and made in Hungary, and it's a very clever design.
And it works, and it's been smooth. And I've had this in cold weather, and that's when you really can test the metal of a ball head. Is
literally, you can test the metal of the metal.
But it's metal. Metal. And last but not least, this is something that this is interesting. I kind of keep my ear to the rail and you know hear what's hot and what's not. And this company called Three-Legged Thing has kind of come out of nowhere, and they're making a set of travel tripods, which I find, or at least have found, are probably one of the more well-built ones that I've seen. So this is a case that it comes with, and this is a three-legged thing. This tripod is a X2 version.
Looks nicely padded.
It comes in a nice little kit, and there's plenty of room. I mean, you could wrap you know, other things around inside it. It's got a little space on top of here where you could put extra heads, or you know, it has. This is part of a. You can kind of make a monopod out of it, like I'm saying. This is part of the monopod adapter, but you could put extra plates in there. So it comes out, and it's built like that. It's really light. Feel how.
Yeah, this carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber. It's well designed, in my opinion. And the way it works is you kind of screw the legs up. It flips out. And it seems like a lot of work. You push these buttons in here.
Yep.
And it locks into place. And then you can extend the legs. They're 5-section legs that extend out. I'm not a guy that's big on the center column, so typically I would bring the center column back down.
If you have a center column up, you're basically using a monopod.
So I never use that, but if you wanted that extra 6 inches, you could have it.
And everyone could use an extra 6 inches.
Even though this has been fairly stable, and our friend with us has been using this during this trip, they obviously think that if you can always hang your camera bag on here, just give that a little
some
bit
extra stability. Or what some people do, what I do sometimes, is I'll take a bungee cord, put the bungee cord on there, and then step on the other end.
So, but the slick thing is it turns into a monopod too. So, you know, if you were just going out for the day and really didn't need it, you can unscrew this leg. It's the leg with the padding on it.
Right.
And then take the ball head off and put it on here. Now they make their own ball heads. You can put any ball head you'd like on here. This is a very lightweight ball head. And it's your basics, you know, you got the tightening of the ball and the whole 10 yards. So, but the point is, I travel a lot sometimes with, you know, 2 nights, going to New York City or something to do something, and take one of the things you can put in the overhead. This fits into that. Even though it might take up some space, you can still stick socks and underwear in here and maybe use it wisely, I guess.
Yeah.
So
no, that's very clever. Now the issue is, how much is this thing?
It's $500, as you see right here.
It's a carbon fiber tripod, 5 legs, with the ball head?
With the ball head.
All right, it's not bad. It's a little pricey, but
it's pricey, but they must be selling them because you can't get them.
really.
Yeah, it's funny these days. Chris and I were looking at a site, and they were making some very clever devices for videographers. You know, like a device that folds out and you can stabilize yourself with it. You know, little things that screw on the bottom of the camera that will drive around and do all this cool stuff. And there's a lot of companies making neat stuff, but this company was doing, and you can't buy this stuff. Everything's back ordered. You know, maybe 6 weeks we'll have it. It's kind of like buying an iWatch these days. But This one, they're on back order, but you're talking 3 to 4 weeks delivery on it. And I just thought I'd share it because I look for a system I can take with me.
Yeah.
It's not going to replace the big really right stuff that I want, but if I wanted to go do a shot of Times Square or go into a museum or a church or something, it's a nice little lightweight bag.
For someone who's a hiker,
yeah,
I could see, very, very nice as a hiking tripod. No, it's a clever design.
So that's kind of our
That's it?
well, it's kind of a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you haven't talked about your...
Oh, this is the Luminous-Landscape hat. Of course, if you come on any of our workshops, you get one of these hats. And as you know, we've been working very hard on changing the website, working very hard on adding new features, and
Yeah, but you can't really have a restyled business without a hat.
no, and I like this hat. Yeah,
It's a
got
cool hat.
endowment on one side,
rock hopper,
rock
yeah.
hopper, and
See? Oh, looks good.
yeah. So,
Well,
look
this has
for
been
these
fun.
sometime.
This has been fun. Thank you. Maybe next time I'll have more new toys than you.
Well, it'll probably involve film.
I'll have my daguerreotype.
Just going backwards. Anyway,
Thanks, Kev.
and thanks, and we'll see you guys on the Luminous Landscape. It's fun as always.